to witness the electric atmosphere that makes Team Boxing League different.
We welcome you to Fight Night. It is a Saturday in the city of brotherly love, one of the boxing hotbeds across the nation, as Team Boxing League presents the Philadelphia Smoke and the New York City Attitude in downtown Philly as Week 6 coverage continues here in TBL. Hi again, everybody. Glad to have you with us. Alongside the Hall of Famer Al Bernstein, I'm Justin Shackle. Second meeting of the season between New York City and Philly. The Smoke trying to improve to 3-0 with the former NYC fighter Stacia Settles in tow. But I'll tell you what, Dave, NYC, the defending TBL champs, they are still proving that they already have an impressive stable of women. That is continuing here in 2026.
Yeah, NYC has a number of women who are performing exceedingly well this season, and a couple that are undefeated and really, really rolling. Natalie Zempateka is a perfect example of that. She has posted 4 points for her team in the 3 fights she's had, with a knockdown of Jessica Del Boni as a signature moment for her this season. And then there's Angelis Lopez Mendez. She has just been a relentless attacking machine on her way to 4 straight victories. And Justin, she has looked kind of unbeatable at this point in the season.
Both of them are. Mendez and Zempateka combined 7-0 so far for the NYC Attitude. Philadelphia, like we mentioned, 2-0 to start the season. A 3-point win over Vegas the last time out. Jesse Hart has been a mainstay in his 3 seasons here in TBL. He went 14-3 last year, but here to start 2026, he is 2-2. He did pick up a win over NYC back on March the 20th, but this is a 26-6 career fighter in Team Boxing League. Al, Jesse Hart has been the glue to this Philadelphia Smoke, but again, small sample. This sample is the only thing that we have to talk about. If he isn't as dependable as he has been in years past, what might that mean for Philadelphia over the long haul?
Yeah, he'd like to believe that his 2 losses to Johanna Martinez was an aberration and not a sign that he might be slipping. Tonight, he gets a tough assignment against Sean McCalman, who is a very good fighter. So we may get a hint of where Jesse Hart is at this point.
Well, Team Boxing League event split across 3 sections over 24 rounds. The launch rounds come up first. Our round to watch in the launch rounds, round number 6. It's a good one at 154 pounds. Steve Cunningham Jr. going up against Ryan Pino.
Yeah, this is a rematch at 154 pounds from week 1, where Steve Cunningham Jr. And Ryan Pino split 2 fights, and both were very close. We're going to find out tonight who has adapted better and learned from those first meetings.
Cunningham Jr. trying to improve to 10-1 after tonight in TBL action. Let's send it out to the 3rd member of our broadcast crew. It's Amelia Moore in Philadelphia. And Amelia, we're taking a look at round number 6 as a round to watch, but there is a round before the 6th that features a whole lot of high amateur pedigree.
Absolutely. I think we're going to see a ton of action kicking off the matches tonight. Straight out of the gate, round 1, Lissandra Contreras and Natalie Zempateka. So these 2 ladies saw each other in the season opener on March 20th, and Natalie came out with the win by unanimous decision, just landing cleaner shots. Both of these athletes boast massive amateur records, 120 fights for Lissandra out of the Dominican Republic, and Natalie's a 14-time national youth champion for the USA. I think the big question here is, what exactly does Contreras need to do to be able to pull out a win tonight? What are those adjustments? But regardless, Justin, I think we're going to see amazing fireworks coming right out of the gate.
I think you're on point, Amelia. Thanks so much. Those 2 women are going to be in action twice against one another tonight. New York City, Philadelphia, 2nd meeting of the season between these 2 squads. We'll see who emerges victorious. We'll meet the fighters and kick off the launch rounds next. Just about to get going with the launch rounds between NYC and Philadelphia as we get set for Team Boxing League. It is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com. Use code TEAM and start today. We talked about it. Second meeting of the season between these two squads. They met with one another back on March the 20th in Philadelphia. Outscored NYC 9-3 in the money rounds, and they earned it, Al. There were some big shots over the final 8 rounds.
Yeah, everybody mixed in to help, and you know they were down heading into those money rounds, and Suttles and everybody else just was dominating in those money rounds, and that got them the win.
NYC had a very controversial, as a fly just came out of my headset. You don't know what you're going to get in boxing, folks. Let's go over to Philadelphia and kick off the night with Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next chapter of high-impact, non-stop action. This is Team of Boxing League, where every round matters and every fighter leaves it all in the ring. Each moment of TBL season airs live on MSG Networks and Envoy TV, with Spanish language coverage available on Estrella TV. Fans can also stream the action on YouTube or access it through the Team Boxing League app on Apple TV 4K, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, LG and Samsung Smart TVs, as well as iPhone and Android devices. We are here from the Sheraton in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, PA, for tonight's Week 6 matchup between the Philadelphia Smoke and the New York City Attitude. We would like to thank the Pennsylvania Athletic Commission Chairman at ringside, Rudy Battle, as well as Executive Director Ed Kunkel for hosting tonight's event. We'd also like to thank our fine sponsors, Climax Moonshine, Fire Number 32, Balance of Nature, and Serenity Springs Recovery Center. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Philly Smoke!
Philadelphia entering the arena at 2-0. They can join Miami as the only two TBL teams unbeaten with a win tonight. Miami picked up a win last night, so they're 3-0, but Philadelphia coming off a 3-point victory over Las Vegas back on April 11th. And of course, what you saw in that first meeting with New York City. And they want to continue this momentum in the first half of the TBL season.
Smoke is esteemed trainer Mr. Bob Kane. Silver medalist at the National Championships, it is Lysandra Contreras. Featherweight Rashid Sugar Sheen Brown. Multi-time national champion and 2020 U.S. Olympian Shaquilla Ellis. Lightweight Francisco Cisco Kid Rodriguez. Welterweight Isaiah Geladuke Johnson. Super middleweight Steve Tugboat Cunningham Jr. Middleweight Daquan Young Garrett. New York Golden Gloves champion heavyweight Concha Don't Blink Nathan. Three-time Pennsylvania State champion and Honduran team member, featherweight Maria Antunes. Lightweight Angel, the chosen one, Hernandez. multi-time national champion, Team USA member, Olympic trialist, Stasia "The Natural" Santos. Welterweight, Najim "No Mercy" Johns. Super middleweight, Zaire Jefferson. Former USBA, NABO, and NABF champion, Jesse Hardwork Hortz. Former two-time champion of the world, cruiserweight Steve USS Cunningham Sr. And heavyweight Joey Adeveku. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Philadelphia Smoke. And now let's welcome the New York City Attitude.
So this is an interesting position for the 1-2 NYC Attitude. They faced Philadelphia, tasted defeat in the season opener, beat Houston. Then last week, they lost a controversial match and a very controversial ending to Boston last week. They feel they should be 2-1, and now they could be 1-3 by the end of the night.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for them, you know, losing on the final fight when they thought they had a knockout win and it ended up being a disqualification.
The coaches of
Tough deal for them.
NYC Attitude, renowned trainers, Ryan O'Leary and Benny Roman. And now here is the starting lineup for your two-time and reigning Mega Brawl champion NYC Attitude. 14-time national champion Natalie Zemboteke. Two-time Golden Glove champion and current ABO regional champion, featherweight Alexander Castellano. Featherweight Abril Mulan Anguiano. Multi-time national champion Ryan Birdie Boy Zemboteke. Welterweight Lionel Teza Santana. 8-time Puerto Rican national champion Ryan Pino. Former WBF champion and 2025 Most Improved Boxer Lasha Gergliani. Heavyweight Michael Saranyi. Multi-time national champion featherweight Angelisa Lopez Menendez. Puerto Rican national champion lightweight Jose Adriel Diaz Rodriguez. Super lightweight Katarina Lender. Super middleweight Brian Polanco. Light heavyweight Sean McCallman. Cruiserweight Tali Tessie Goliath Eves. And Serbian national champion and silver medalist at the 2024 European Championships, Dusan Valentic. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here in Philadelphia, we ask that you all please rise, if you're able to, for the singing of our national anthem being performed tonight by Angie DeMilo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the
with the singing of our national anthem. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to begin the launch rounds between the New York City Attitude and the Philadelphia Smoke. Round one at 118 pounds for Philadelphia. It is Lysandra Contreras. For NYC, Natalie Zemboteke.
There you see Lysandra Contreras entering the ring, walking past head coach Bob Kane and Natalie Zemboteke in the ring. These two squared off back on March 30th. It's been the only fight in Team Boxing League for Contreras thus far. Zemboteke 3-0 to start her TBO career. She has 3 straight decision wins.
And that round between them was named the round of the night. It was very exciting, well fought, as we would have expected, with the fact that both these women, as we've noted, have great amateur background and are really solid ring technicians.
They're going to be in for 2 rounds tonight. So what will they have taken away from that first 3-minute action back on March 30th, apply it, March 20th rather, and apply it into this evening? Glad to have you with us as week 6 in the TBL rolls along. Justin Shackle, Al Bernstein, and Amelia Moore with you. And Amelia, you have an 18-year-old former 14-time national amateur champion in Zemboteke going up against a 21-year-old Contreras who went 121-4 as an amateur. So the amateur pedigree is through the roof here.
Absolutely. You know, Justin, and I think that's the thing that we see with these two is we're looking at them being way more calculated, but at the same time, very complementing styles. You're seeing from these two, currently in a wrap-up, but you're seeing from these two that high-level amateur style and being able to have those long punches.
Taking a look at some of the bantamweights that have really shined early on here in Team Boxing League in 2026. Natalie Zemboteke near the top. Ana Vasquez with a +4. A solid quick combo from Contreras. She is showing off some speed here.
She's showing some wide looping punches, but they're getting in.
I have to agree, Al. You know, I see that her Contreras' ability to be able to level change is really where she's going to find a lot of success. Natalie's very good about keeping her range, using those long punches and really great lead hook. But the difference between the two is going to be Contreras' level changes and flurries. Back to you, Al.
Good action so far between these two women. Contreras showing off a lot of fundamentals, but Zemboteke keeping that pressure on her.
And a little bit of a left-handed style from Contreras, giving her something else to look at. And Contreras is getting home with that overhand right much more than she did when they met the last time in week 1.
And I'd have to add, Al, it seems like she is trying to close that distance with a little bit of a jump instead of taking her feet with her. So it can at times, it can work because it's a surprise, but at the same time, in an attempt, you could get caught.
The fan presence for Philadelphia, you can hear it at the start of round number 1 between Contreras and Zemboteke. Final 30 seconds of this opening bout. Good close range right hook. And Contreras showing some angles as well, moving out of the way of some punches.
They're producing the same kind of even competitive round that they did the last time.
That was a solid round of adjustments like we were talking about just before the fight started. Contreras showed a lot there.
She really did. I thought she picked up the pace better than she did in the first fight. This was the early part of the round where she came out aggressive, landed some pretty good shots. And even though some of those hooks and overhand rights were a little wider, she needed that to get them in. And that right hand of hers might be the difference in this round. We'll see. Zemboteke certainly had good moments herself.
We'll get the scoring started for the night in a moment.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 1 by way of a split decision from Philadelphia, Lysandra Contreras. Round 2 at featherweight for Billy Rasheed Brown. For NYC, Alexander Castellano.
So Philadelphia setting the table, winning round 1. Contreras exacts revenge off Natalie Zempoteke. They'll face one another again in round 17. Here's Rasheed Brown and Alex Castellano. Put this one in the back of your head because these two gentlemen will meet in round 24. They're scheduled for the final round of the night.
And they met twice in week 1 when these two teams were against each other, and both were wins for Brown, which he's used to doing. He's got 34 wins in team boxing, but one of them was a split decision, and Castellano fought pretty well in that round. So we'll see how this one goes.
Sugar Sheen Brown in the purple trunks, Castellano in the green trunks for NYC. There's something that we should point out between Lysandra Contreras for the smoke in the first round, Castellano here for New York City. These are two individuals who came through the Team Boxing League Winter Combine that was held in Atlantic City, and they've signed on with their respective teams, and we've seen that littered throughout the league.
Yeah, that was a very unique format and gave boxers a chance to get into this league. Brown switching back and forth here in round 1 from righty to lefty, which he was wont to do.
Brown trying to use his speed, gaining advantage here over Castellano in the second round.
Castellano fought very well in week 3 against Ishmael Bennett, beating him twice after he had suffered that tough 0-2 outing against Rasheed in his debut in team boxing. The defense of Brown is special. He's just very tough to hit.
Well, Brown's a step ahead of Castellano with the speed, but also, again, it's mixed in to his defense, and he just knows how to gain every inch of gamesmanship as well. There was a moment earlier in this round where he kind of just forearmed down on Castellano's head and was punching him in the waist, gaining any type of advantage until the ref steps in, and it's not flustering Castellano, but certainly frustrating.
Yeah, he's a veteran. I mean, he's a pro. He's 15-1 beyond TBL. So he's fashioned a very good boxing career with his craftiness and his ability to just handle every situation. But Castellano's trying to do some good work and is doing some pretty good work with him on the ropes. Good body work by Castellano, but Brown is countering well.
Great punch combo from Brown after some body work, but again, just slips the chin out of the way of that left hand from Castellano. Well, it's apropos, Philly shell to close off the second round for Rasheed Brown.
You know, Castellano did one thing really well in that sequence. He went to the body because it was hard to hit him in the head, and depending on whether the judges give him credit for the body work he did in the round, there was a left hook downstairs by Castellano. On the inside, he did some really good work. And the question is, was there enough of it in this round? And of course, Brown, we talk about his defensive prowess. He slipping a lot of punches, blocking punches. So he's a crafty veteran.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 2 by way of split decision From the NYC Attitude, Alexander Castellano.
I guess he did get credit for those body shots.
Yes, they did like it, Al, right?
For Billy, Shaquilia Ellis. For NYC, Abril Anguiano.
So New York City and Philadelphia exchanging rounds via split decision to start the night. And here is Shaquilia Ellis and Abril Anguiano. Here's Anguiano. Her third season in Team Boxing League, now an even 7-7. She's been a sporadic fighter, but she did suffer 2 losses to Ellis on opening night before coming back to beat Desiree Yanez in the match against Houston on April 10th. Lost to Carla Torres last week. Ellis, meanwhile, a perfect 20-0 in Team Boxing League.
She is as close to automatic as you can get. I mean, she just continually handles every situation that's in front of her.
4-0 this season. With a pair of wins over Abril back on March the 20th. And she'll be back in action against Abril in round 20.
She's one of 5 undefeated fighters for Philadelphia this season, which explains partially their, why they've done so well as a team.
They have met the moment over the last 2+ years in terms of just the overall team concept in this league as she snaps Abril's head back with that right hand.
Yeah, their roster, it's very complimentary, and it provides them many opportunities to get multiple wins in a row. Anguiano is, you know, she's a scrapper in there. You can tell she knows Ellis is hard to beat, and she knows she's flawless, but she's coming forward with a lot of good aggression. Anguiano had an MMA start when she was 7 years old, and she's been involved in MMA as well as boxing.
She's had a run in a few major MMA promotions, including the PFL. It's a story that gained a lot of attention locally for Anguiano, but just like a lot of others in the fight game, Abril's had to dedicate herself and just find a way to make things happen, find a way to get it done. She worked as a school crossing guard in Texas while simultaneously training for her pro MMA debut.
And that's a story of fighters that people don't always know. You know, she's been aggressive in this round. The question is, has the countering of Ellis been too much for her, and has she landed enough when she's come forward? There's a jab, an example of Ellis doing well in the counter, but Anguiano ripping downstairs and trying to make some things happen. Ellis has been economical with her punches in this round. Let's see if that is a problem for her.
Ellis and Anguiano wrap up. Let's take a look at some of the action.
Yeah, there's one of the good counter punches that Ellis landed. She did land a bunch of them, and there was a short little jab that Anguiano walked into. So there was some of that, and then there was some of this where Anguiano was getting a little bit done when she went forward and when she had Ellis against the ropes. So it was a mixed bag.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 3 by way of unanimous decision. From the Philly Smoke, Shaquilia Ellis. Round 4 at lightweight, Billy Francisco Rodriguez. NYC Ryan Semboteke.
So the fourth round will be Ryan Zempel-Teke and Francisco Rodriguez. There you see Ryan. Third season in Team Boxing League, went 10-9 last year. His career record 17-16. Scored a split decision over Rodriguez in the Mega Brawl, and then opened this season with Francisco and scored a TKO win on March the 20th.
Yeah, he's 3-0 against Rodriguez, so Francisco would like to end that streak for sure.
Amelia, as a fighter who's competed in this league, when you go head-to-head against a specific fighter and either you are consistently dishing out punishment or consistently being handed a defeat, how does that factor into your mindset approaching these events?
Well, I mean, every time that you walk into the ring, you're coming in with lessons and motivation to move forward, but you have to be intelligent, right? So you're taking those lessons from the last fight that you were in, and you're hoping to be able to step up that skill. You can't be emotional. You know, as soon as you're emotional, you're already in the past game, you're already behind. So staying present, thinking about the things that you need to work on, knowing how to break down their strengths is really the key here.
Rodriguez coming up empty with that left hook attempt.
You know, Francisco Rodriguez, an example of, and we've seen many, he's undefeated. Oh,
right hand over the top from Zempel-Teke, and Rodriguez will not be saved by the ropes. That's going to be scored a knockdown for Ryan Zempel-Teke.
Same kind of right hand that got him in trouble when he was stopped by Zempel-Teke.
So New York City in line right now, a chance to score some extra points. Rodriguez trying to come back with the equalizer. Good left hand.
And the intensity that we're seeing Rodriguez come through with this, really trying to make up those points, right? Trying to be able to put in that effort to kind of close the gap.
That's got to be a delicate balance where you're trying not to overcompensate, but knowing that you're behind in the round, no?
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen it before. Athletes feeling like there's too much urgency. They're not thoughtful coming in, then they get caught again. So be smart, be fast, be first. Have urgency, but definitely try to be intelligent about it. The energy in here is incredible. I mean, the Philly side is just going wild, trying to give him the energy to move forward.
Lightning fast combo from Rodriguez.
Yeah, he wasn't, you know, while he was pushed back and it was the right call against the ropes, he wasn't hurt badly. He was put off balance and stunned by a good punch, and that's why he's been able to at least give a decent showing here in the rest of this round. And he doesn't want to make it a 4-point round for New York.
And that overhand right caps off the round for Zempel-Teke. It was the one that perhaps rattled Rodriguez for a moment. It was the one that scored the knockdown.
Well, Francisco Rodriguez gets knocked back, and referee rules that the ropes are what held him up. You can justify that for sure. And the overhand right and then the hook is what did the damage. You know, Rodriguez 8-0 in the rest of professional ranks outside of TPL, and yet he's, you know, kind of almost a 500 fighter in TPL. It's interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 4 by way of unanimous decision. 2 points going to NYC's Ryan Zempel-Teke.
So after the knockdown from Ryan Zempel-Teke, NYC has taken a 3-2 lead over the first 4 rounds. We are back to conclude the launch rounds in Philly right after this. Rocky Balboa, his hands raised in Philadelphia, overlooking the city of brotherly love. Right now, the Philadelphia Smoke behind. It's 3-2 NYC as we roll on with round 5.
Round 5 at welterweight for Philly, Isaiah Johnson. For NYC, line now, Omar Colon Santana.
So Lionel Taz Colon, second season here in Team Boxing League, going up against Isaiah Johnson. Taz won both of his rounds last week for New York City, and he helped win the TBL Mega Brawl. And Johnson 24-5 in his TBL career. He's had a whole lot of success, as has his teammate Joey DeVaco. The heavyweight's going to be in action a little bit later on tonight, and he's standing with Amelia.
Joey, we just saw you in LA. You're back here in Philly. Are you trying to outwork me right now?
I'm back where I belong, that's it.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. You're back with the Philly team, made the transition back over. How does it feel to be back tonight, being able to fight for your crowd?
Philly's my home, you know what I mean? Philly's my heart. Shout out to Manny Robles and the LA team. I love you guys, but I'm like I said, I'm back where I belong.
And this is without a doubt one of the biggest showings that we've seen in the crowd for Philadelphia. Any thoughts on that at all? I mean, the energy is fantastic tonight.
It's always great in Philly. Philly's the capital of boxing, you know what I mean? So it's always great in Philly. I'm so happy to be back.
Predictions for tonight, send it to us.
We're gonna win. Philly's gonna win in spectacular fashion. We got great fighters, you know what I mean?
You heard it from Joey. Get us back in the ring.
Thanks so much, Amelia. Joey's going to be in action in the 16th round, round 23 as well. So if he's predicting an exciting finish, sounds like he's going to be involved.
Yes, he hopes that he'll be a big part of that. Isaiah Johnson, you know, he's one of those fighters. There's a good straight left hand for me. He's one of those fighters that is very good at controlling the tempo of fights and controlling the range. And that's part of the reason why he's so successful in team boxing. And he's 12-1 in the pro ranks beyond it. He's just a very solid ring technician in there.
Born in Sittlerville, New Jersey, fights out of Philadelphia. So that sharp left hand, a right hook, a powerful weapon as well for the 23-year-old.
Santana would like to get that right hand in, and he's been trying it. It's one of the punches he's used to get a couple of his 4 KOs in boxing outside of the TBL, and he just can't quite get it there.
Sharp straight jab from Johnson coming through moments ago. Final 22 seconds of round number 5. And another right hook connecting as Santana came through. So Isaiah Johnson with an effective land. And another quick combo. Those are compactful hooks that are making their mark.
No, you're right. They're compact punches. They're short. They're quick. And that check right hook that he has as a counter is excellent.
He may have won in the round. We'll see.
Yeah, very possible. A good sequence at the end. We look at the work to the body. That was Santana getting downstairs a little bit effectively there. And then toward the end of that round, Johnson doing that good work with combinations. Good straight left hand by Johnson, and of course we know the right hook was a big part of that round for him as well.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 5 by way of split decision. From NYC, Lionel Omar Colon Santana. Round 6 at super welterweight. For Philly, Steve Cunningham Jr. NYC, Ryan Pino.
That brings us to our round to watch, the 6th here in the launch round. Steve Cunningham Jr., Ryan Pino going at it at 154 pounds. But I'll tell you what, Al, that split decision for the 5th round with Santana coming away victorious, that's a pretty big round for NYC to take, because Isaiah Johnson tonight is a single round fighter. Santana's going to be action twice, and that was a 24-5 fighter in TBL handed a defeat.
Yeah, put a pin in that one if this one becomes really close, stays close, and that could be important at the end.
That is not a knockdown, but it's an impressive way for Cunningham to get up.
And Ryan Pino kind of counting as if he was down as a joke. Yeah, these two men split their fights in week 1, and they both were very close. One was a split decision.
For Cunningham, that was the first defeat he's had in team boxing league, and he's coming out gangbusters right now. That left hook, it may have grazed the chin of Pino as they continue to trade shots.
Cunningham had won his first 7 TBL fights. The length of Pino did trouble him at a couple points in their matches, their close matches.
A 72.5-inch reach for Ryan Pino, 30-year-old out of the Bronx.
We saw a moment ago a kind of a half jab, half hook from Pino that he was able to land because of that reach. Pino's mom was a boxer. His dad has trained him, so he's part of a boxing family. Steve Cunningham, of course, his dad's going to be fighting later, so and former champion.
It's one of the great features of this Philadelphia roster. Father and son competing on the same team.
Pino has switched to lefty here to see if that will bother, and he lands a pretty nice right hook and explains it to Cunningham Jr.
Pino coming in, getting out, moving well, little shake, rattle, and roll. And another combo there inside 50 seconds to go in the 6th.
Pino has landed some really solid punches in the last 35, 40 seconds of this round. It's been a good sequence for him, in addition to all the theatrics.
Left counter, looked like it connected from Pino. Well, something had to considerably slow down in the mind of Ryan Pino over the course of this round. He got incredibly comfortable.
Yeah, you're right. All of a sudden, it was like he was just comfortable with what was going on, able to do the theatrical part and land punches as well. And here's Cunningham, who is very good when he's at that mid-range with those combinations, but wasn't there a lot during this round.
It's the only round as of now scheduled for Pino and Cunningham Jr. Could be on standby if we need some swing rounds to decide a tie after the first 24.
Yeah, there was a good combination work by Pino, and that was where he switched to lefty, and right toward the end of the round had some very good moments. And Pino, you know, that sequence was great on many levels. The fake counting by Pino, the lifting by Cunningham.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 6 by way of unanimous decision from the NYC Attitude, Ryan Pino.
Wins not only the decision, but maybe a Tony Award for his acting.
Middleweight, Billy Daytwan Young Garrett, NYC Lasha Gurgliani.
So Lasha Gurgliani back in the ring for the Attitude, as they have now won 3 straight rounds. There's Daytwan Young Garrett making his TBL debut tonight. A 27-year-old out of York, Pennsylvania. He's in the purple trunks. Gergliani in the green for NYC. Had a tough time with Rashidi Ellis of Boston last week. And Garrett with a tough time with his trunks.
Yeah, Gergliano, very solid TBL fighter, 20-9. He's been one of the most improved fighter, correct, last year. He won the award. He was 13-1 last season. And really just became a really solid TBL performer.
Emerged as a consistent presence, no knockdown.
And you know, for Garrett, he's 2-0 as a pro, and his last pro fight was 10 months ago, in June of 2025. So he's in here off a pretty long layoff.
It's always interesting. You talk to fighters who maybe have been out of competition, have had long layoffs. They will often tell you, well, I've stayed ready. I've been in the gym. I've been training. That may be the case, but there is no substitute for real-time competition.
Even in this day and age where we're used to fighters having long layoffs, but longer than before.
There's just something different between sparring and the quote-unquote game speed of a real boxing bout. Strigo with a top miss by Gergliani.
Gergliani has a pretty good right hook, and he flashed it there. While you expect lefties always to have a good straight left hand, not all have a good right hook. He does. And there it is, landing perfectly.
Asha coming in and able to cap that combo with that right hand.
That little sequence is really what encapsulates what Gergliano does well. Being busy, a variety of punches, and winning sequences of a round. Gergliano had a cut over his eye earlier this season, the right eye, and it looked like it might, after he won a decision, it looked like it might keep him out, but it didn't. It hasn't been bad enough to keep him out of fighting. And he's having a good outing here against Garrett.
This is scheduled as his only round of the night. He's usually been a two-round fighter.
Yeah, interesting choice there.
He usually starts his night in the middle round, so it's obviously a tell that he's only competing in one round this evening. New York City trying to even up its overall record to 2-2. Again, lost last weekend against Boston in a controversial ending, and they're trying to redeem themselves here against Philadelphia.
And as good a start as they're off to, and they are off to an excellent start, they only have to remind themselves of the last time they faced Philly when the money rounds cost them. So they want to keep their foot on the gas pedal. Now there, he goes down, but not really from a punch. It was more of a push. Though they felt in that bench that maybe he could have been a knockdown.
TBL fans, the winner of round 7 by way of unanimous decision. From the NYC Attitude, Lasha Gergliani. Our final launch round, round 8 in the heavyweight division. For Philly, Concha Nathan. NYC, Michael Serzeni.
Nathan Serzeni. Michael Serzeni making his TBL debut, a 36-year-old southpaw fighting out of Brooklyn, born in Uniondale on Long Island. He's nicknamed Big Milk. He weighed in at just under 240 pounds in his most recent traditional boxing bout in January. That took place in Trenton. And here's Concha Nathan.
And he won a majority decision in that. Kanji Nathan, of course, a fixture on Team Boxing League.
Big right hand, sharp fists coming from Kanji Nathan. And Sereni smothers a bit, and they get out of the clinch. Another right hand sort of pushes Sereni off the mark. Nathan with plenty of action and pop in those fists.
Yeah, he's been in many exciting brawls in the Team Boxing League. And in week 1 against...
Oh, there's a chin turner out. That left hand landing from Nathan.
He was 2-0 when these two teams met last time and had a war with Dusan.
Oh, right hand! It's knocked Sereni off his kilter, and Sereni's down. Nathan, perhaps with the equalizer here, as Philadelphia hunts for extra points at the end of the launch rounds. There's plenty of time for Nathan to close the show. He has Sereni on the ropes, and that's going to do it. The equalizer from Kanji Nathan. Just like that, we're tied.
The new scoring system with the 4 points comes into play, and Kanji Nathan, who, as we said, has had many exciting moments in team boxing before, just adds one to his list. And we'll see just how he did it against Sereni. Hurt him badly with the right hand, and then knocked him down. And then Sereni just could not recover, and no complaint from him when the referee stepped in to stop this. Appropriate decision by the referee. Nathan using rights, left hooks, and boy, he showed the power that we've seen so many times from him, and celebrates with this crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end of round 8 comes at 1 minute 28 seconds for your winner by TKO. 4 points going to the Philly Smokes, Kanji Nathan.
All right, we'll have more from what is turning out to be a very exciting and well-fought evening of Team Boxing League.
Thanks so much, Al. Plenty more to come here on Team Boxing League between New York City and Philadelphia. And there's more to come later on in Week 6, May 3rd. We have a showdown in the Wild West as Ambabola Oceandairo and the Dallas Enforcers travel down the road to Houston to take on Jaden Alpha and the Houston Hitmen. You can catch all 24 rounds of action at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on TBL Team Boxing League. Then we move on to Week 7 with a trio of great matchups. On May 8th, the Phoenix Fury take on the Las Vegas Hustle. May 9th, the Boston Butchers face off against the Miami Assassins. And to cap off the weekend, the Smoke travel to Atlanta for an East Coast showdown against the Atlanta Attack. That 24-round non-stop action continues all season long on Team Boxing League.
things being equal in Philadelphia, the smoke coming back at the end of the launch rounds to tie it up with New York City. It's 6-6 heading into the middle rounds. We welcome you back inside our TBL studios. Justin and Al with you. Wow. I mean, New York City came away with 4 straight wins, including some extra points. You thought that maybe they were going to provide even more separation heading into the middle rounds. Conja Nathan says,
Yeah, that was getting to be precarious for them, for Philadelphia. And Conja Nathan showed the power that we've seen so many times from him before. And the new 4-point rule came into effect.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the launch rounds, beginning with round number 4. Zempelteke Rodriguez, 2 pretty even fighters, but Zempelteke, he had the more explosive punches.
Yeah, he continued his ability to beat Rodriguez for the 4th time, even though they've had close fights before. But in this instance, he would show his power and get an important win.
And then in round number 8, again, at this moment, NYC was ahead by 4. Conja Nathan taking on a newcomer in Michael Sereni, and this was some sort of introduction.
Not the way Sereni imagined his beginning in Team Boxing League. And Conja Nathan gets a stoppage and celebrates appropriately with the Philly crowd.
This is a 20-round winner in Team Boxing League. Conja Nathan doing his part here for Philadelphia as they tie it back up at 6 apiece. All right, middle rounds coming up. Round to watch, round number 14 is very exciting. Jesse Hart going up against a very good pro in Sean McCalman.
Yeah, this is really intriguing. Hart, who, as we said, his last time out uncharacteristically lost 2 fights. He wants to turn things around. McCalman, who is 3-1 this season, had a tough outing, only in that he had what he thought was a knockout win at the end of the last match, but he got disqualified for hitting the fighter when he was on the mat, and it lost his team the match. So he wants to come back strong.
A pair of light heavyweights later on in the middle rounds. Right now, we start at featherweight. Middle rounds about to begin. Let's go back to Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to begin the middle rounds between Philly and NYC. Round 9 at featherweight. For Philly, Maria Antunes. For NYC, Angelis Lopez Menendez.
The 9th round, Antunes for Philadelphia, Mendez for New York City. A matchup that'll take place again in the money rounds. These 2 women set for the 21st round. And Antunes in for these 2 rounds against Angel Reese Mendez, whom she lost to in her TBL debut on March 20th. She came back to beat Jordan Edwards of Las Vegas about 3 weeks ago for her first TBL victory. Lopez Mendez, meanwhile, 13-7 in her TBL career, 4-0 to start this season. She had a good start following a big postseason as part of the NYC Attitude in 2025.
And, you know, Antunes, a very experienced amateur, was on the Honduras national team. She won the Pennsylvania State amateur title 2 times. She's a solid fighter, and I think she's the kind of fighter that once she gets her sea legs here in the TBL, is going to have some really good outings. And, of course, she's facing a tough one tonight in Mendez.
Right hand landing from Antunes moments ago, and then a counter left hand as well. Again, Antunes losing to Mendez on March the 20th, but you could see how their styles, Mendez's come forward style, Antunes showing some pretty good counter punching. This could be aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Antunes was backing Mendez up a little bit before. She doesn't like to fight going backwards. Neither of these women do, but here comes Mendez with that pressure that she brings. Mendez has been a little more cautious in the way she's come in just took a counter right hand, and then that's part of the reason why she's a little more cautious than she's been in a couple of the other matches this season.
Good movement from Mendez, dodging a lot of those punches. Under a minute to go in the 9th round, excuse me.
Mendez coming in and trying to use the uppercut. It's a good weapon for her, but throwing it from a little too far out and can't quite get it in.
Mendez dishing out some frustration in those punches.
Yeah, I think she has had a little bit of a timing issue here in this round, and does counter punch by Antunes. This is the pressure that Mendez can put on a fighter, but Antunes walking her back, and we haven't seen much of that this season.
This is a good closing moment for Maria Antunes. You like the way Lopez Mendez fought in the second half of that round, but Antunes capping it off with some brighter moments.
Absolutely, and you know, she used this Mendez with good pressure, and then Antunes coming back right at the end of that round. And it was a round in which both women got some things done offensively, and good combination punching by Antunes in that final segment. Could the winning streak of Mendez be on the line here?
So the featherweights bringing the action to start the middle rounds. We'll get the decision from the judges in this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 9 by way of split decision. From NYC, Angeles Lopez Mendez. Round 10 and lightweight. Philly, Angel Hernandez. NYC, Jose Adriel Diaz Rodriguez.
So Angel Hernandez for the Philadelphia Smoke in his 3rd TBL season. And there you see Jose Rodriguez. Second TBL season for him, 2-3 so far this year, and that includes a defeat to Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, and he was down in that fight against Hernandez. And we'll see if Hernandez can repeat that kind of performance. He's been a solid TBL performer.
So Amelia's joining us here for round 10, but Amelia, I have to get your thoughts on what we saw in round 9. That was a good scrap.
I mean, what an absolute blowout in that last 20 seconds at the end there. I mean, I would say, to Al's point, the first time we've ever seen Angela Reese on her back heel. I mean, something has to be said about that.
And she still comes away with the split decision win.
Second one for NYC, so we have to remember those as we head down the stretch.
Two 23-year-olds battling in the center of the ring here in round 10.
Hernandez really a solid amateur for over 100 fights, national Golden Glove runner-up, and he's showing some of that right now with landing a really good straight right hand.
Absolutely, Al. You know, seeing Hernandez landing that straight right to the body, all his punches are coming off very strong, very decisive. He's making it a point to have that ring generalship and showing that body confidence. He's like, no, I'm the one who's in control here.
Couple of quick jabs from Rodriguez, catching Hernandez in motion. And a good land right there as the two tie up along the ropes. A little different demeanor now from Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, Rodriguez's aggression is becoming much more effective. Nice straight left hand. He's now able to cut the distance and get in some pretty good shots.
And I think that's going to be the key for Rodriguez, especially with Hernandez. Hernandez is using the ring well, trying to take those angles. Rodriguez has to be able to cut the ring down well and keep it busy. You know, it looks as though Hernandez is trying to counter and be able to set up his shots.
Yeah, and the counter left hook is what sent Rodriguez down when they last fought. So, but that hasn't landed as much. Well, there it is, but it hasn't hurt Rodriguez in this fight.
The round closing out, a little over 10 seconds to go, and time is called. And they'll close it out in the middle. Left hand from Rodriguez. Again, Hernandez showing good movement for the entirety of the round. Well, what will the judges have seen?
An intriguing round because early on, Angel Hernandez, there's one of those counter right hands, looked like he had things kind of in control. And then Rodriguez started to do some good work. There he lands the left downstairs and was able to get in and do some pretty good offensive work. Not there, that was an awkward situation.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 10 by way of split decision from the Philly Smoke, Angel Hernandez. Round 11 at super lightweight for Philly, Stasia Suttles. NYC, Katarina Lender.
So tied at 7 once again, round 11. Stasia Suttles, Katarina Lender, again at 140 pounds. And this is the second straight week in which Katarina Lender is going up in weight now, and by a lot. I mean, this is a natural featherweight, so here she is competing at 140 pounds.
And yeah, and she fought Camila Panada, a very tough, world-class woman fighter. Now she's in against the same kind of foe here against Stasia Suttles.
4-0 for Suttles so far with Philadelphia. And that super lightweight division is getting really good at the top in Team Boxing League between Stasia Suttles, Ariel Davis, who we've seen this weekend. You have Panada as well. Latia Williams from San Antonio. She'd like a word within that conversation.
That's a talented division in the women's side.
Left hand lands from Suttles.
Yeah, Suttles really is a winning streak, 17-fight winning streak in Team Boxing League. She is just almost automatic. And part of the thing in stepping up in weight too, she's facing a height and reach disadvantage, Leonard, in this matchup, and she's taking some right hands from range from Suttles.
Suttles at 5'9". She fought a bit at featherweight at the beginning of last year for New York City. And she's a Philadelphia resident, joined the Smoke. And it is a terrific combo between she and Ellis for Philadelphia. I mean, we were highlighting New York City and what they've been able to produce with their stable of women, but here Suttles and Ellis, a terrific 1-2 combo.
When Bob Kane pencils them in, and he's expecting wins for his team. And right now, Suttles' right hand is just automatic, and Leonard is taking a number of those. The question here, with a minute left to go, is could there be a knockdown in our future here?
Suttles telling Leonard to get back in the middle, and she continues to pound her with jabs. Punches coming from the low guard. It doesn't matter. The speed in the spotlight for Stasia Suttles.
Leonard's problem is from range, she can't win this fight, and she's had a very hard time getting on the inside. I don't remember the last time I've seen a fighter land as many 1-2 combinations as Suttles is landing in this round. It's really amazing. And a lead right hand there. She didn't even need the jab.
But the jab has been a work of art. Tell you what, I like that from Leonard. She was getting pushed, came back with the right hand.
Yeah, she's a tough competitor. And she won in week 3, beat Latrevia Pierce 2 times. So she's a solid fighter. This is just a tough matchup.
That little pot shot may have poked the bear, though. So
yes.
Settles
Exactly.
dishing out a little something extra there at the end of the round.
And here we'll see some of this superb action from Suttles. The jab, the straight right that we talked about. That combination was just so effective for her. And working the body as well. And yeah, just a paint job with the jab. And for Katerina Leonard, just a tough outing.
Well, she has another 3 minutes with Stacia later tonight. Let's get the ruling on this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 11 by way of unanimous decision from Philly, Stacia Suttles.
Well, the Luchador fights next door, guys. Here we have round 12.
Round 12 at welterweight. Billy Najim Johns. NYC Lionel Omar Colon Santana.
Quick turnaround for Taz Colon Santana. He was in action back in round 5. Here he is in round 12, going with Najim Johns, who's 3-1 so far in the Team Boxing League. He dropped a split decision against Adonis Wilkins on March the 20th. And Johns, a 29-year-old welterweight, stands at 5'6", so Santana has the height advantage.
Santana winning that close split decision against, as you pointed out, against Isaiah Johnson. So that propels him into this round.
Well, Philadelphia with an 8-7 edge. Alex Castellano in action earlier for NYC. He'll be back in action in round 24. This one's close. Amelia standing by with Alex.
Alex, coming out of that first round with a win over Rasheem Brown, I mean, that is incredible. Rasheem's an incredibly talented athlete. Kind of just take us through working through that round.
I knew I had to be my best and I had to be focused. He got the better of me the first time around. It was my first rounds in the competition, so I more so just had to get myself centered and really just get back to doing what I do. So I knew he was tough. He's very sharp, and I played my game a little bit better than I did last time, so that's what it was.
It's all about making those adjustments. For those that don't know, you were the first pick out of the combine that we had at the beginning of the season in Atlantic City. And I feel like that is just a testament of that adjustment that you made tonight. Your thoughts on the combine, the opportunity that it gave you, and so on?
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to my brother, my coach, Tommy Neff, back in Buffalo. It was his idea, and we went on our own dime. And like I told you last night, in retrospect, it was a great opportunity and a great memory for me because I made the most of it and I got drafted. So I did what I had to do. I surpassed some of the expectations. I performed both rounds, beginning and end. And, you know, I'm grateful to be drafted by NYC. That's what I wanted. So, you know, I'm grateful.
Yeah, we're happy to see you here. I mean, you outperformed all athletes on all of the events and then dropped your opponent in the first round that you went in for sparring. So awesome to have you here, and looking forward to many more rounds with you, my friend.
So much. Let's go NYC.
Jessica is back in the ring.
Yeah, an impressive victory over Rasheem Brown for Alex Castellano. He's going to have to try and do it again in round 24 coming up. Again, a tight overall score. Philadelphia ahead by 1.
And this match is a close one. Santana and Johns each have gotten some things done. But like the first match Santana had with Isaiah Johnson, the issue is very much in doubt here. And Johns, as you pointed out, no stranger to a split decision because he had that against Adonis Wilkins in a loss back in week 1.
Taz Cologne in the launch rounds earned the split decision win over Isaiah Johnson. Here against Eugene Johns, can he go 2 for 2? We'll see. The 21-year-old looking more and more comfortable as his time goes on with TBL action.
Yeah, edging toward the 500 mark, and could get 2 wins tonight, maybe.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 12 by way of split decision. From NYC, Lionel Omar Colon Santana.
So after going into the middle rounds tied, it is back and forth. NYC and Philadelphia exchanging rounds, notched up at 8. We'll be back after this. Philadelphia and NYC are tied at 8 in Philly. Let's get back to the action with Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, round 13 at super middleweight for Philly. It is Zaire Jefferson. For NYC, Brian Polacco.
So Jefferson and Polacco in single round action tonight. There's Jefferson on your screen, his first TBL season. It's his 4th TBL fight tonight. Polacco, meanwhile, a 6'3" southpaw, 168-pounder. Won his debut against Jefferson on that March 20th head-to-head. Then he split 2 rounds with Boston veteran Ronald Ellis. So 2-1 so far. Has put a good foot forward here in Team Boxing League. And if you need a reminder on the scoring structure in Team Boxing League, all the points scored add up for the team. If you win by way of a judge's decision, it's 1 point. If you score a knockdown, it's 2 points. 2 or more knockdowns is 3 points. And it's 4 points via knockout or a stoppage, like we saw in round number 8 with Conja Nathan tonight.
Yeah, a turning point in this match that got Philadelphia right back in it. So demonstrates how important that is. 2 tall 168-pounders here, relative newcomers to the TBL.
Two fighters relatively close in age as well.
Polacco has pretty good hand speed when he puts his punches together. We haven't seen that yet in this fight, but
good chip left hook from Zaire Jefferson. And a left counter from Polacco as he dodges the straight right coming from Jefferson.
Yeah, their first fight was a close affair. It was one that, you know, was not super definitive. So, and both men being cautious here in this one.
Some good movement from Polacco despite operating with the low guard.
I think Jefferson's been a little more aggressive in this one than he was in their first encounter that he lost to Polacco.
New York City and Philadelphia tied at 8 apiece through 12 rounds. The Attitude trying to even their record to 2-2 on the season. Philadelphia looking to move to 3-0.
Neither of these men used to losing too much. Brian Polacco 7-1 as a pro outside of TBL, and Jefferson 4-0. Pretty good body work by Jefferson when he can get in position there, and he landed a nice right hand. He's been busier than Polacco in general in this round. Not everything landing, of course, but that's a help.
And will the judges acknowledge the activity by the end, because it looks like this one's going to a decision. And Polacco's actually spending a lot of time with that, well, the showmanship, looking to see where Jefferson's punches went, sarcastically.
He's challenging Ryan Pino for best performance of the evening, of the theatrical nature.
So sure, good defense, but it's taking time away from your offense, which you need to have in these 3-minute settings.
You have to do something offensively to win this round, yeah. That's not going to be the easiest round to judge. We may be headed for another split decision.
We've already had 3 in the middle rounds. Let's see.
Of round 13 by way of unanimous decision. From Philly, Zaire Jefferson. Round 14 at light heavyweight. For Philly, it is Jesse Hart. For NYC, Sean McCalman.
Well, we have arrived to our round to watch here in the middle round. Jesse Hart, Sean McCalman, they'll do it up at 175 pounds. Hart, a career 26-6 fighter in Team Boxing League. Went 14-3 for the Smoke last season, and he's 2-2 to begin 2026. McCalman, meanwhile, Al, 3-1. He very well could be 4-0. He picked up 2 wins on April 10th. And last week, he looked like he was on the verge of a 2-round sweep, a walk-off win for his team when he put down Boston Stephen Sumter, beat him decisively earlier in the night. McCalman knocked Sumter down. He did commit a late punch on Sumter, and the ref initially stopped the fight without seeing the late punch, awarded the stoppage to McCalman. Boston's coaches contested. They argued over what happened, and the referee went back and DQ'd McCalman because of the late punch. Boston ends up winning the fight. Lots of controversy, tough call to make, but McCalman has that loss.
Yeah, very dramatic moment to be sure that you and Dave lived out that evening. And, you know, for McCalman, he wants to just come back and put that, you know, out of his mind and give a performance against a man who is a very accomplished professional, terrific in TBL, and McCalman, as you and I have both pointed out, an excellent fighter who's been at the upper reaches at 168-pound division and 175 pounds, and he is a younger version, if you will, of Jesse Hart.
I like that comparison. Yeah, that's a good one. And McCalman opened up some eyes with the way he went up against a rising title contender in Diego Pacheco a couple of years ago. And you could argue that McCalman gave Pacheco his most difficult fight as a pro. A couple of the scorecards reflected that. There's a right hand. Attempted there by McCalman.
McCalman's doing some pretty good work on the inside, even though Jesse Hart's trying to tie him up and not have to work in there.
I'll tell you what, if you watch that McCalman fight against Pacheco, he's doing a lot to Hart that he did to Pacheco. Yes. He's making things frustrating for Jesse Hart.
Yeah, very good point.
And Jesse Hart kind of has the demeanor of this, as if to say, who is this guy coming into this TBL ring and trying to boss me around?
Yeah, but he had, you know, against Martinez in those 2 fights he lost, Jesse Hart was frustrated like that a little bit. And we were seeing a little of that tonight. But he just landed a good short left hook. to McCalman on the inside. One of his better offensive moments. A lot of holding by Hart in this fight, and we saw that against Martinez in the last time out. Good body work, though.
Hart working downstairs. McCalman punches a left hook into the body of Hart. With just 1 point separating Philadelphia and New York. These two meeting at a pivotal time as the middle rounds wind down. And because of Kanja Nathan's earlier stoppage over New York City's Michael Sereni, Jesse Hart and Sean McCalman will fight for a second round tonight, Al. They'll meet up in round 18.
It could be pivotal. And here's on the inside, McCalman trying to work and doing some pretty good body work, and Jesse Hart wanting to kind of nullify that action and hang on a little bit in there, but couldn't quite do it. And there was a nice short check hook by Hart. And there was a lot of this awkward action during that round, so we'll see how much punching was counted.
The winner of round 14 by way of split decision, from the Philly Smoke, Jesse Hart. Round of 15 at cruiserweight. For Philly, Steve Cunningham Sr. NYC, Tesha Eames Talley.
So Hart outpoints McCalman in round 14. Philadelphia's won the last 2 rounds. We'll see if NYC can answer. But here we go. Steve Cunningham Sr. in the ring against Tesha Talley. These two are no strangers. Cunningham 3-1 in 4 prior meetings against Talley. First meeting came last June. The most important round came in the Mega Brawl last August. Talley won that. Cunningham won the first 2 meetings this season.
Yeah, they have lots of history together. And Talley, you know, he's very solid fighter, about a 500 fighter in TBL, but gets the job done often. Talley, a native of the Ivory Coast, lives in New York City, trains at Cops and Kids. Has been a launching pad for so many New York City area fighters that have gone on to do great things in the sport. And how do you know 2 teams are pretty well matched? 7 split decisions here tonight, so it's been close. Talley, the thing that hampers him sometimes is just not volume when he's in some of these matches. But against Cunningham, that's not a major problem. Cunningham Sr. these days doesn't have a lot of volume either when he's fighting in the TBL. Sometimes he's a little more selective with his punches. Of course, Cunningham, you know, legendary cruiserweight in an era where the cruiserweights were phenomenal, and still at this age, in his late 40s, still in amazing condition.
He's approaching 50 years old. Incredible.
Cunningham switching to lefty. Neither man has been super active, though Cunningham, I think, has done maybe a little bit more in terms of offensive-minded approach to things. Talley finally getting going a little bit with some combinations there. He's going to need to, I think, open up a little bit more here in the final seconds of this round.
Cunningham getting out of the way, but not of that right hand landing for Talley.
Both men are pot-shotting with those rights, trying to get them in, but it's been tricky and difficult for each man.
Closing moments of the round. choppy round.
Yeah,
Tally and Cunningham.
that's a very good way to put it. That's a good adjective to use. And it's going to be difficult for the judges. Tally working his way in there with some jabs and a right hand downstairs. And both men trying to land the right. We saw both make an effort there. Tally kind of snuck his in a little bit.
TBL fans, the winner of round 15 by way of split decision from Philly, Steve Cunningham Sr. Our final middle round, round 16 at heavyweight. For Philly, Joey DeVaco. NYC, Dusan Valetic.
There's NYC's Valetic as the heavyweights enter the ring for the 16th round. Joey DeVaco, just a different pair of purple trunks this week. Last week it was purple trunks for LA, and he's back with Philadelphia, his hometown team, 3-0 to begin his third TBL season. And he's trying to keep this momentum going here as Philadelphia's won each of the last 3 rounds. And Valetic coming out firing, especially with that right hand.
Yeah, Valetic, you know, he's as you see his information, you know, for Bosnia and Serbia on their national team, and he's a very exciting heavyweight.
Stands at 6'5". But Valetic split a pair of rounds against Boston's Skylar Lacey last week. So he's stepped into the ring against some of the more notable heavyweights in the league and has either held his own or come out victorious.
Yeah, exactly. And those two are prime examples of it. And he's getting off to a pretty good start in this one. We're halfway through this round, and he has landed some very nice combinations, using his height and reach effectively.
That jab splits the guard of DeVaco.
DeVaco is, you know, they call him the tank, and that's an appropriate nickname for him, I think. And he wants to get just in that mid-punching range, close enough where he can land some hooks and overhand rights.
He likes it too. All right hand from Valetic. It wobbled DeVaco. And I think with each land, Dusan Valetic is gaining more and more confidence. An already confident heavyweight.
You hit it on the head. Here he is again with yet another durable, long-time heavyweight in TBL, and he's showing that he is not awed by the moment against any of these guys.
Valetic is out to prove he's the next wave of heavyweights in Team Boxing League. Big swing and a miss from DeVaco. And Valetic clicking on all cylinders in the 16th round.
Valetic has kept his distance well, not allowed Joey DeVaco to get in the inside at all, really, in this round. Controlling the geography.
A complete all-around 3 minutes for Dusan Valetic. If DeVaco liked the late hit. Actually, I know he didn't like the late hit.
That's a pretty definitive statement that he didn't.
They're going to do it again in the 23rd round.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 16 by way of unanimous decision from NYC, Dusan Valetic.
So, Dustin Valetic gives a needed win to New York, to NYC, and it's going right down to the wire, we think, as we might have expected. So, great action here tonight, and lots of action coming up in the TBL. Here's Justin to tell you about it.
Thanks, Al. Great to have you all along as we continue to roll on with Team Boxing League tonight. And you can tell fans where to catch us as we are on a number of different platforms, including MSG Networks and the Gotham Sports app, as well as our home network, Envoy TV. Plus, the full season of Encores are on Envoy Fast. You can just download the Envoy app. Connected TV users with Samsung, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, and LG devices can download the TBL app and watch both live action and play previous matches on demand. TBL is also seen on YouTube, the TBL app, and in Spanish on the Estrella Network.
A neck-and-neck battle on a Saturday night in downtown Philadelphia. The smoke in front of New York City, 11-9 as we approach the final 8 rounds of the night. We welcome you back inside our TBL studios. Justin and Al with you. And these two teams were fighting furiously to try and break a tie. Philadelphia manages to win 5 of the 8 middle rounds. They win 5 of 6 at one point. Right now, they are in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and 8 split decisions during the course of this night. Evenly split, 4 for one team, 4 for the other.
Let's take a look at some of the rounds that stood out in the middle rounds. Round number 11, we saw Stacia Suttles come out the first of 2 rounds tonight. And earlier in the season, the first meeting between these two teams, she outclassed her opponent. She did so again against Katarina Leonard. And what do you know, Al? These two women are going to fight again in the money rounds. And Suttles showing every ounce of her talents. But then here in round 16, the heavyweights went at it, and Veletic putting in a great performance against a veteran in DeVaco.
Yeah, just this Dusan Veletic has distinguished himself this season as a heavyweight in team boxing, and that was a very important win for NYC to kind of keep them in the hunt.
And it's interesting because we're going to take a look at DeVaco and Veletic. Their second go-around is going to be round 23 in our round to watch. And if this is as tight of a head-to-head score as it is right now, you saw what Veletic was able to do against DeVaco. That could put a lot of pressure on Rasheen Brown in the 24th round.
Yeah, and you know, DeVaco, when he was talking to Amelia, was very definitive that not only was Philadelphia going to win, he was going to win. He was very distressed and frustrated at losing to Veletic, and it was kind of a dominant performance by Veletic. So, yeah, Joey DeVaco, maybe a little pressure on him if it is close to try and do better in that fight.
So you have DeVaco in 23, Rasheen Brown in 24, and also the hard-hitting women, Ellis and Suttles here in the money rounds for Philadelphia. Up by 2, but plenty can change. Let's go into the ring with Ray Flores to start the money rounds.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the money rounds between the Philly Smoke and NYC Attitude. Round 17 at 118 pounds. For Philly, it is Lisandra Contreras. For NYC, Natalie Semboteke.
Second time these women are fighting here tonight. Contreras beating Zempoteke to start the night's action in a split decision. It was a good round for the Dominican native, and she's going to try and sweep her 2 rounds against the 18-year-old.
Zempoteke's first loss of the season. She certainly doesn't want to have that compounded by having an 0-2 night. So she's going to be bringing the heat. We see evidence of that already in this round.
Contreras showed good movement in that first round. Light on her feet, landed the more effective blows. Lightning quick right hand from Contreras. And again, still good movement, but Zempoteke feels like she has the counter. Quick uppercut landing from Contreras and a left hook by Zempoteke as some space is created.
You know, Zempoteke is pressing the action here, but she has run into some pretty good counterpunching. And that has been an issue for her in this round.
Again, 2 decorated young amateurs in the ring right now. Contreras went 121-4 in her amateur career. Repping the Dominican Republic, relocated to New Jersey. Trains under Yesenia Montalvo at Legacy Boxing Club, who is ringside. You can hear her coaching her young protege. And for Zempoteke, a native of the Hudson Valley in New York State, she recorded roughly 120 amateur wins, a 14-time national champion.
Yeah, lots of credentials here. We just saw Zempoteke take a big right hand from Contreras as she was coming in.
It looked like it gave Contreras a whole lot of confidence as well, the way she's moving.
And that's been part of the problem for Zempoteke. When she comes in, she's doing some good offensive work, but she's taking counters like that.
Effective right hand on the counter from Contreras. Lisandra Contreras in her bag right now, trying to empty it on Zempoteke. Final 20 seconds to go in the 17th. This is exactly the way Philadelphia would love to start the money rounds. Left hand lands by Zempoteke. Coming back with a right is Contreras.
Yeah, good counter left hook by Zempoteke, but a lot of the combination work done by Contreras. And, you know, Zempoteke won that first meeting back in week 1. Close fight. These have looked different.
Let's get the ruling here for round 17.
The winner of round 17 by way of split decision from Philly, Lisandra Contreras. Round 18 at light heavyweight. For Philly, Jesse Hart. For NYC, Sean McCollman.
So if Philadelphia holds on, maybe Lisandra Contreras is in line for Fighter of the Night honors, because that figures to be a huge table setter. 2 round wins over Natalie Zempoteke tonight.
Yeah, that would have been exactly what Bob Kane was hoping for tonight.
And here in round number 18, originally supposed to be Kanja Nathan and Michael Sereni. Nathan knocked Sereni out in the 8th round. So in steps Jesse Hart and Sean McCalman, who you see on your screen right here. Hart defeated McCalman via split decision in the 14th round.
Yeah, it was a very close fight marked by a lot of awkward action on the inside. But the judges felt Hart did enough more offensive work than McCalman did. McCalman's record this season was 3-0, but in his last 2 fights, first by disqualification and then by this close decision, it's fallen to 3-2 this season.
Credit to the referee before the 3 minutes even started. He brought the 2 fighters together and pretty much told them, hey, I saw your last round. Make this one a bit cleaner.
Yeah. Trying to do some proactive work before the round.
We will see if they heed the ref's advice as McCalman starts off with a couple of jabs. Again, Jesse Hart, a mainstay in this league and for the Philadelphia Smoke.
McCalman, in the first meeting, was kind of rushing in, trying to get some offense going. That was when Hart was doing a lot of holding. This has been more tactical from the outside in the first part of it. And a lot at stake, I think, right now for NYC. They really could use a win in this one.
Philadelphia up by 3 in the overall scoring. The Smoke trying to improve to 3-0 in 2026.
McCalman switched lefty a little bit more than we're used to seeing from him in this match. They heeded the referee's caution because they are not clinching as much as they did in the first encounter.
Good double jab from McCalman.
Yeah, that was from the lefty stance, so maybe that's part of the reason why he went to it, feeling he could get that right jab in.
What do you think was behind McCalman's adjustment? Because I don't know if he took the ref's advice to Hart right before there. I'm sure this was by design before he stepped into the ring. What do you think is behind?
I think he felt that if he got too far inside, Hart would hold him more. And Hart's not holding as much, but I think he wanted to try and see if he could do some good from mid-range. Hart's doing some really nice counter-punching, but they're both going at it now.
And McCalman just ate a sharp left hook. He ate it rather well.
Hart instinctively wants to stop that action right there of McCalman. Doesn't want him working on the inside. This is a very close round.
This may be tougher to score than their first round.
Yeah, I agree with you in some ways because there's more good offense done, but by both men.
Will it be another close round won by Hart, or McCalman split this one?
Yeah, they're trying to work on the inside, and Hart doing a pretty good job of countering him as he's coming inside. Vicious left hook by Hart. McCalman took that very, very well. He's got a good chin anyway.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 18 by way of unanimous decision from the Philly Smoke, Jesse Hart. Round 19 at lightweight. Philly has Angel Hernandez.
Now, this is interesting, Al, because these are two fighters who each won a round tonight, albeit against different opponents. Hernandez against Rodriguez Zempelteke earlier in the launch rounds, where he picked up extra points against Francisco Rodriguez. So as we get started here with round number 19, Amelia, this is a crucial point in the night for New York City. They need to close the gap, and they have an extra point score earlier in the night in the ring right now.
Absolutely, you know, you have to keep the momentum going, but always being cautious. And I feel like Ryan does a pretty good job of staying in his own lane, Justin.
Zempelteke has the height advantage, had the advantage right there with that right hand moments ago. And another left hook on the counter from Ryan Zempelteke.
Hernandez, who we saw box earlier, being more of an attacker here against Zempelteke.
You know, Al, what I see with that is Ryan's doing a good job changing levels. He's coming in with that very strong jab to the head, jab to the body, and that's how you really break up trying to get somebody who's trying to pressure you forward. But again, you know, Hernandez has fantastic, he makes great action on the inside, so can't let somebody like that in. And it looks like Ryan's really trying to look for that lead left hook as Hernandez tries to jump in. And if he lands it, that's going to be super clean.
Two-punch combo connecting for Hernandez, just like you said.
Yeah, beautiful right hand landed by Hernandez. Very clean, straight down the pipe.
The Hernandez left hook, which is a very good punch. Oh, I'll tell you what, he just got hit with one, though. He's been trying to land it, and luckily they didn't go out totally out of the ring.
They nearly do. Hernandez, did he hold on because he got clocked and hurt? Or did the momentum just take him through the ropes?
It looked like Zempelteke did land that lead hook.
Yeah, you know, he and Hernandez have been trading hooks, and Hernandez has a good one, but that one was better by Zempelteke.
There's been good action throughout this round. Final 15 seconds to go in the 19th between Zempelteke and Hernandez.
It's a seminal moment for this fight.
You have Ellis, you have Suttles all waiting in the wings for Philadelphia. NYC needs to make a move here in the overall scoring. And Zempelteke with a lot of effective punches that landed cleanly and with some impact, but none that did decisive damage against Angel Hernandez here in round 19.
And this is where the awkward action happened there. Big left hook landed by Zempelteke, and I agree with you, Ryan. He was trying to hold on, Hernandez was, because I think that punch stunned him. And then because of that, they kind of awkwardly fell through the ropes here. Thank goodness nobody got injured. Good round, though.
Round 19 by way of unanimous decision. From NYC, Ryan Zempelteke. Round 20 in the featherweight division. For Philly, Shaquille Ellis. NYC, Abril Anguiano.
So Zempelteke picks up the win. It's now a 3-point match between Philadelphia and NYC. You have Shaquille Ellis here in round 20 against Abril Anguiano. Ellis winning decisively earlier in the night.
Well, this might be me trying to be a glass half full guy for NYC, but of the 3 fights that Angriano rounds that she's lost to Ellis, I thought the last one was the most competitive of the 3 for her, even though you're correct in saying Ellis really controlled it. So maybe that gives Angriano something to build on to try and get an upset in this round.
Ellis at the top of her class in this weight division in Team Boxing League. And if you're just looking ahead here in the money rounds, you have Mendez and Antunes due up next. That was a very close first round between those 2 women tonight. Suttles in round 22 and Velikic in round 23. New York City wants to make it interesting for that 24th round. You would want to peg at least Mendez and Velikic with wins before that 24th round.
Angriano coming forward as she did a lot in the previous round they had, but Suttles just kind of keeps the geography of the ring and keeps her from getting on the inside. Angriano, when she's a lefty, I think the only problem with that is sometimes she's more susceptible to the right hand of Ellis.
A little over a minute to go in the 20th round. Left hand grazing Angriano from Ellis.
You know, Angriano has been busier in this round than Ellis, but Ellis has been more precise with her punches.
That's how she was in the earlier rounds.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And that's how she carved out that win.
So Ellis leaning toward efficiency more than volume.
Yeah. And she's landed 2 or 3, maybe 4 jabs here in the last 30 seconds. Angriano would like to be closer in where she could work like this to the body. She's a good body puncher, but hasn't been there enough.
And now they're letting loose. Ellis near the end throwing some fists, and if that's the case, she was wiping out her efficiency rating.
Yeah,
for a good cause.
Yeah, that's the thing about Shaquille Ellis. She has a way. Angriano happy with her performance, and she did do well. Ellis has a way of stealing moments at the end of rounds as well. Here's Angriano. This is the ending portion where she did some good body work, and then she and Ellis really went after it. And both landed some nice shots and gave us an exciting ending to that round.
TBL fans, the winner of round 20 by way of unanimous decision from Philly, Shaquille Ellis.
Shaquille Ellis remains undefeated in TBL, now 22-0 in her career, and Philadelphia has a 4-point lead with 4 rounds to go. Philadelphia up 14 through 20 rounds. 4 more to play with. Let's go back inside the ring with Ray Flores.
Round 21 in the featherweight division. Philly, Maria Antunes. NYC, Angelis Lopez Mendez.
Mendez and Antunes fought in round 9. Mendez coming away with a split decision win. There have been a lot of split decisions ruled here tonight. And Philadelphia with a 4-point lead and 4 rounds to go before improving to 3-0, trying to remain undefeated here this season. This is the scoring format in Team Boxing League. We've already seen a KO, a stoppage earlier, and that's really been a huge mark in this fight for Philadelphia, because at the timeout, Philadelphia was trailing by 4 with a round to go in the launch round phase, and the heavyweight Conjun Nathan put his opponent, Michael Sereni, on the ground for 4 points.
Yeah, that would be, NYC had a very good launch rounds period, so that was essential and has been important. Mendez coming forward. We mentioned in the previous round that they fought. Mendez was coming forward, getting hit with some counter punches, and she just got nailed with the left hand there. But she's doing a better job of attacking, I think, in this round a little bit. Although she's still taking counter punches.
Mendez trying to counter on her own. Four-point cushion. About half a round, or half the time already passed in the 21st round. New York City needs to make a move here. Amelia, if you're in the corral here and you're doing the math with your teammates, what are you saying to yourself if you're New York City?
That they absolutely need to get themselves a knockdown at this point to be able to level the playing field and get, and try to secure this win. We are creeping towards the end of the money rounds at this point.
Mendez doing some great body work, and she is an excellent body puncher, but she is taking a lot of right hands from her opponent. Antunes has a very nice right hand.
And the thing about Mendez, I would say, Al, is right now she has an opponent that's pretty much her size, maybe a little bit, she's a little bit shorter, but she's giving up her height by having this very crouched stance.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing where she becomes more susceptible to these long punches.
Caught a left hand from Antunes. And another one. Answers back with the right hand counter. With that crouched stance right there, one could argue not doing enough to the body, but these two headhunting as the round comes to a close. And that's how the 21st will conclude.
These two women produced 2 very good rounds of boxing.
Now let's take a look at the action, Amelia.
I'm sorry, one more time?
Well, that action in that round was excellent from both women, and we'll see what the judges think.
TBL fans, the winner of round 21 by way of split decision from the Philly Smoke, Maria Antunes. Round 22 at super lightweight. For Philly, Stacia Summels. NYC, Katarina Lender.
Well, a big win for Antunes. moves Philadelphia ahead by 5. And just by the looks of things, Al, coming out for round 22, Suttles knows the assignment.
Yeah, and she had such a definitive win over Leonard the last time. Leonard stepping up in weight, as you pointed out, against, you know, this machine of Stacia Suttles, who hardly ever loses in TBL. It's a tough assignment. And they're getting close, New York, to being mathematically out of it. So any extra points that Suttle gets here could be a death knell for them.
Well, she's hunting for 4, I think. Leonard hasn't thrown a punch. And Suttles finally puts her opponent on one knee. So extra points for Suttles. And there is plenty of time for more. We are not done yet, folks. And I don't know if she's going to get up. That's going to do it. This one's waved off. And just like that, Philadelphia has taken a 9-point lead. Talk about closing the show.
For the second time tonight, 4 points posted. And Stacia Suttles, who dominated Leonard the last time, felt this time I can get extra points, and she did. And the body is where she really hurt her. That was where Leonard actually was, even though she landed all these headshots, it was a body shot that really did her in too. There's the left hook to the body. And that's what kept Leonard down, that body shot by Suttles. She's just a very talented and technically sound fighter, Stacia Suttles.
3rd career KO in Team Boxing League as Suttles stops her opponent and puts this one out of reach.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 57 seconds of round 22. For your winner by TKO, 4 points going to the Billy Smokes, Stacia Suttles. Our penultimate money round will be in the heavyweight division. For Philly, Joey DeMaco. For NYC, Dusan Valentic.
Well, the TKO is what Philly needed to close the door. Suttles provides the stoppage, and this one will go to the smoke. New York City mathematically cannot come back. So Philadelphia will move to 3-0 here in the TBL season, but I don't think Dusan Valentic cares so much about the overall score right now, because he has a chance to sweep 2 rounds. This was our round to watch, round 23 between Valentic in the green, DeVeco in the purple.
And while he's motivated, you know Joey DeVeco is, because he was frustrated that he didn't get the win last time. I mean, he kind of knew he lost, but he was distressed that he couldn't give a better performance. So he's going to try and certainly get a win here. And Valentic, who, as we point out, is kind of making a name for himself as a heavyweight here in TBL, would like to continue that momentum. DeVeco really needs to try and crank up the left hook. He's got a good one, and he just needs to put himself in a position where at least he can throw that punch.
He's being dissuaded by that long reach on the left hand.
The other thing about Valentic is he's a good combination puncher. He reminds me of Skylar Lacey, who he fought, right? You know, a big heavyweight moving around and throwing more punches, not just moving. And all that combination punching will keep your opponent from getting inside.
Halfway through the round. Again, Valentic pumping up the volume with that punch, the punch volume, especially with the jab. Just to turn the wrist behind the left glove of DeVeco.
This is not an easy style matchup for Diveco. You know, when he fights the bigger, taller heavyweights, his mission is always to get somewhere where he can get within punching range, and Velicic's just not letting him do that. You see Diveco kind of leaning to his left down. That's because he's trying to get in a position to throw that hook.
The thing about Joey Diveco, he stands at 5'10". The majority of heavyweights are going to be taller than 5'10". Velicic, good punch there, good connect. Velicic stylistically just presents an enigma for Diveco. Finally gets the right hand in.
Yeah, you're right, because he fights tall for the most part and gives you just enough movement, and he's busy. So it's a conundrum for Diveco. Whereas we could see him, when he's fighting a Concha Nathan or someone, you could see them getting in a really exciting brawl. But there's finally the left hook and the overhand right, but it came too late.
Velicic leaned into it, leaned into the left hand, and then got clocked with the right hand. Probably Diveco's two best punches of the night come in the final seconds of the 23rd round.
Probably a two-win night for that man, Dusan Velicic, who is becoming kind of a story this year in the heavyweight division and Team Boxing League.
TBL fans, the winner of round 23 by unanimous decision from NYC, Dusan Velicic. Our final money round will be in the featherweight division. For Philly, Rasheed Brown. NYC, Alexander Castellano.
So with this one in the bank for Philadelphia, Rasheed Brown would like to add to the point total, exact revenge for a loss earlier in the night to Alex Castellano. We talked about that meeting on March 20th, Al. Philadelphia outscored NYC in the money rounds 9-3. And thanks to Stacia Suttle's stoppage, they've already outscored the Attitude 8-2 with a round left to play with.
Yeah, they're having a great money round sequence. And kind of whetting our appetite for what's to come when they face the Miami Assassins this year.
That's in 2 weeks' time. Miami has a date with Boston next weekend. And if they take care of business, then we could see two undefeated teams go head-to-head in a couple of weeks.
Of course, the Butchers will have something to say about that, but if they do get it done, yeah, that would be an exciting matchup in either case.
Each team has to take care of business before that date.
Brown, who's not used to losing, that was only the last loss was only his 4th loss ever in team boxing. He likes to put himself back in the win column here.
Brown now 34-4 overall in his career in TBO.
And that's a remarkable record. I mean, it really is.
So Castellano joins the likes of Oswald Caballero and Abraham Nova, those who have beaten Brown in Team Boxing League.
And both of those, Abraham Nova, of course, a contender in boxing at the highest level. So it's not easy to beat Rasheed Brown.
And Brown came back to beat Caballero a little bit later down the road. So he was able to redeem himself for one of those defeats. He's trying to do it again here with Castellano.
Castellano is a season wears on. He's got 3 wins this season already, and that win over Brown could really help his confidence, although Brown is having a very good round for himself here, I think.
Right hand counter from Brown. Roughly 40 seconds to go in the final round. Philadelphia has the team victory in the bag. Rasheed Brown would like the personal victory now. sharp right counter from Rasheem Brown, lightning fast. Left hand lands from Brown. This has been a much more sound punching round from Rasheem Brown. Now peppering him with rights and lefts. Castellano wants some more. Brown said, I don't know if he can handle it.
Well, Rasheem Brown got the right hook out of mothballs for this round, and it was a huge weapon against Castellano, and likely brought him a decision win.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 24 by way of unanimous decision from the Philly Smoke, Rasheem Brown.
Brown gets revenge, and he closes out an impressive money round showing for the Philadelphia Smoke. They emerged victorious over NYC 20-11. Stacia Suttles doing work, providing the money round stoppage. We'll be back with more in a moment. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. And Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. Wasn't a clean start for the Philadelphia Smoke, but as we take a look at our Balance of Nature highlight from the launch rounds, Kanja Nathan certainly had the equalizer. This was round 8. Philadelphia was trailing by 4 at the moment, but with just a few flurry of punches and one big right hand that knocked down Michael Serenyi. Philadelphia was back in it. It tied the score, and it set up a fantastic rally later on for Philadelphia. Kanja Nathan, one of the stars of the night, brought to you by Balance of Nature. A fantastic showcase from Nathan and the Philadelphia Smoke. Let's go back inside the ring in Philadelphia with Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, your final score. The Philly Smoke 20, the NYC Attitude 11. Here are your 3 stars of the night. Your number 3 star, NYC NYC Attitude Lightweight, Ryan Sembuteke. Our number 2 star, Philly Smoke Super Lightweight, Stacia Suttles. Your Balance of Nature number 1 star of the night, Philly Smoke Heavyweight, Concha Nathan. And our round of the night, round number 1 between Lisandro Contreras and Natalie Sembuteke.
Coach Bob Kane coming out with another strong win tonight. It was a little rocky in the beginning, and it had a little people nervous, but then suddenly the momentum just built.
Yeah, we knew it was going to play out like that.
It's fair enough. So I believe that you have a response. Coach Harmon last night had a message to you that he's coming for Philly. However, he's got to get through Boston, and you guys have to meet Atlanta next weekend.
Who? Is that the team we fought in the Mega Brawl and won by 22 points? Oh, we're worrying about Atlanta next week, and I don't even know when we fight them. We fight them this year?
You do indeed fight them. News to Philly.
I got to check them out then.
We'll see you next weekend, Coach. Miss Suttles, being able to finish the opponent tonight in that second round, you really built momentum. You knew that you kind of had her hurt in that first round. Came into the second round, it really just looked like you knew that you could just push the momentum and finish the fight.
Yeah, I just wanted to come in here and do my thing. And first of all, I want to say all glory to God. This is also my great grandma's late birthday, so I'm doing this for her, and I'm proud to be in here.
Excellent performance and putting on the legacy. Good work tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Conja Nathan, the man of the hour. Beautiful performance. Listen, the team was down. You guys were down by points. The momentum was down, and then suddenly you came in and you just, the strength and the stamina, you just owned that round. And what a beautiful KO that was.
Thank you. My team said they needed me, so I did what I had to do. I had to bring the dog out, literally, figuratively. So, Philly Smoke, baby.
And looking ahead, how did that, kind of change the momentum as far as for the team, and then, knowing that you didn't have to have another round for tonight?
I really wanted another round, was the extra points. But like I said, I did what I had to do to propel my team forward or get us in striking range, and I did just that.
Excellent work tonight, sir. Congratulations on the win to the Philly Smoke.
Thank you.
Justin, back to you.
Thank you so much, Amelia. The Philadelphia Smoke 3-0 because of a win here tonight. And also, as we look back to March 20th, because of the domination in the money rounds then, Al, they just continue this trend against the Attitude.
Yeah, as Yogi Berra said, deja vu all over again. They did this before, and that was a remarkable performance back on March 20th and week number 1. Everybody came through, including Stacia Suttles as she did this night, and this was tonight.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the big rounds in the money round, and Shaquille Ellis with a terrific output, winning 2 rounds. Doing a great job. Efficiency personified for Shaquille Ellis. And then in round 22, again, at this moment, it was a 5-point cushion for Philadelphia. Stacia Suttles says, enough watching the scoreboard. I'm just going to put this one to bed.
And this is what cemented the victory for Philly. And Katerina Lehner, who had to come up in weight to face Suttles twice tonight, lost the first one, and this one Suttles was just too much for her. Tremendous performance by her.
So Philadelphia outscores NYC in the money rounds tonight 9-2. You do the quick math. 18-5 outscoring NYC in the money rounds over these last 2 meetings. So if one thing can be learned from Philadelphia, they know to step up when it matters most.
Boy, do they ever. And, when they get to those money rounds, here's what they have. They have a couple of women who don't lose in Shaquille Ellis and Stacia Suttles. They do not know how to lose, and they are like anchors in those money rounds, and that's a big help.
Let's take a look at the latest Team Boxing League standings after tonight's win for the Philadelphia Smoke. There you see it, 3-0, right there with the Miami Assassins. Both have matches before their battle in 2 weeks, but a collision course could be on track for the two unbeaten teams to meet in just a couple of weeks' time. Hey, on May 3rd, we have a showdown in the Wild West. It's Brianna Carrera and the Dallas Enforcers traveling down the road to Houston to take on Zafar and the Houston Hitmen. You can catch all 24 rounds of the action at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on TBL Team Boxing League. Philadelphia improves to 3-0. They beat down NYC 22-11. For Al Bernstein, Amelia Moore, and our entire crew, I'm Justin Shackle. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great night, everybody.